Burundi has in terms of all these handicrafts and all? There has something like that? What kind of artistic
Yes,
art?
exactly. You can compare it to other countries like Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda. There is so many talents, and these talents, in a way, and traditions, they get lost
Absolutely.
because they are not recorded. And
Absolutely.
the goal of, for example, some people that I know is to really see that these traditions, that they are protected, and they continue to be given from or transferred from one generation to another.
Well, this
Because,
is
for
something.
example, much is imported from China, and more and more people are buying cheap Chinese goods, and of course, this is hurting the traditional um, yeah, handcraft industry.
Yep. That no, this is actually a problem everywhere. India also, I see the same issue that okay, I think people have to value the handicrafts. I think that aspect of the fact that how much goes behind it, I think that is lost. I mean, I know that my wife is a potter. All you see these things at the back behind me, what she's made those.
Yes.
But when I see
Ah,
that,
is it ceramics?
yeah, yeah,
So it's baked, huh?
yeah, and you know how much
Oh,
work
very
goes behind.
interesting to know.
No, and the kind of hard work that goes behind the whole process is amazing. I mean, first you make it, then you dry it, then you bisque it in the kiln, then you take it out, you glaze it, then again goes to the kiln, and these kiln things firings are like 12, 14 hours. And at the end of the day, you come out with something, and people compare it with factory made things. Oh, we can get these mold made things and all that. So it's frustrating. I can see it in front of me. It's frustrating for a person who's
Yes.
who works with their
But
hand.
it is on the other way. I did a post on my wall of Facebook. Last week, we had on Saturday evening, we invited some people over. So I'm living in the rural area of Bujumbura, which is now the economical capital, but before it was also the capital. The last year or 2 years ago, they changed the capital to Gitega. But anyway, so I'm living in the rural area, and I'm much more in touch with local people, and not like an expat who is living in the system of the expats. So I'm much more connected with the local people, and meet a lot of people even here in the rural area who are considered as poor. Okay, financially they can be considered as poor by other people, but they are rich in their minds and in also the things they can do. They are able to do, like for example, ceramics. But now we had a tailor over, so my wife needed a tablecloth, and I don't know what is happening to the screen
No,
now.
no, I
Ah,
put
yes,
this.
I see.
I see your
Yeah,
handicrafts. I'm just seeing Burundi
yes.
handicrafts.
Yeah, that is exactly. These are handicrafts. We also have them here
No, no,
in
this is
our
Burundi
house.
only. This is Burundi.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
Burundi.
yeah.
Exactly, I see it. These handicrafts that you see on top, the baskets, they are used to go to weddings. They put them on. They place them on their heads
Hmm.
to transport the gifts.
Very nice. Yeah. So
So
that's the yeah,
they are really made by the local people.
nice stuff. So
And they
besides,
and
this is what is this? These are ceramics, is it? What these?
no, this is
No.
made by yeah, grass, and this is really the grass they take, and they make those baskets of it.
Bujumbura, the capital. Okay, so largely it is this kind of work only,
Yes.
baskets only.
So now what you see is, you see there is a part ceramics and the rest is woven grass. But of
Mhm.
course, what you also have is like local tailors. Okay, they don't produce fabrics. All fabrics are imported. But working with fabrics to make costumes and like Saturday a tablecloth, it's measure made by local people.
Mhm.
And this is what, for example, we don't know in the West anymore, like personalization of things
Yeah,
costs a lot of money. So
yeah.
when you go to a tailor in Belgium or London or Italy, it will be very expensive, and it's worth it, of course. But also here in Burundi, the tailor comes to your home.
So
And
nice.
this is the beautiful
Yeah.
part of it. And it's about the relation between you and the tailor,
Yeah, it's
relationship
a very
between the tailor and the fabric.
it's a very personal relationship. I mean, they kind of, I mean, it's a very different way of looking at things. I think either are we going to go back to it or not? I don't know. Or are we now just got used to the fact that okay, yeah, I can pick this up, use it, throw it. That kind of culture that has developed. So the fact that I want to make something which is made for me and will stay with me for a very long time, I think that maybe that aspect has changed.
It is true, but this is this moment in evolution of humanity. We went to a phase of industrialization with production mostly in China, but it will transform again. We will go from industrialization again by technology to personalization.
Yeah.
So it means that the product or money, for example, we were a lot focused on money. The focus will go again, we will correct ourselves again. The focus will go again to humanity. And humanity not of people, but the focus will be on the relationships between people and the
But
values of each person, the values of communities. So everything is always in constant change, transformation, and there is always a correction. When you're out of balance, for example, through industrialization, for example, the world is out of balance by producing only mainly in China. So that means you have a lot of transport that is exaggerated. It's useless to let one country produce everything. So we will go to the future to regional production again. And regional production uh, means also the local people will get more involved in the whole aspect of products, consumer products, whatever products. So everything will come to balance again. Now we are out of balance in many ways as human beings and as humanity.
no, but I really thought this whole lockdown and the pandemic and everything, you had this feeling that suddenly things would change and that whole the mindset is changing towards that. But when I saw the moment lockdown opened, it went back to normal. Nothing, all those WhatsApp messages, night spiritual messages going all around. I thought really things are happening. But look, my gauge is on the, I don't know whether you know how the Delhi roads are in terms of traffic. The way we drive is crazy. So I thought
Yes.
now when we go back, everyone will be very nice to each other. We will drive in our lanes. Nothing. First day, gone.
Yes, but that is your mind expecting. Eh? You are not in control. You can be in control. Your mind can be in control of what you expect. So in that way, you should adapt your expectations because the other people, it's not under your control,
I
and
know.
they go back, of course, to normal behavior because that is the norm. And to change behavior, that takes a lot of time.
How will
It
you do that,
takes.
Stefan? We have to do that. You have to tell us how it's going to happen.
Hmm. um, you read, I read the last years when I started as a lawyer. So it was my dream as a young person to become a lawyer and to make career. And I was also known for that. I was respected for that. Like this guy is a correct guy, is a good lawyer, and he will reach the top. Maybe he will even become a minister one day. And that was the expectations of others, while my own values, they were different. My personal values, I wanted to become a carpenter. I wanted to create things,
Wow.
but okay, circumstances made that I made choices, and I became a lawyer, and I was in court for 27 years doing different kind of cases, civil cases, still also criminal cases. But my frustration, because a frustration starts when you are living a person that you are not.
Yeah.
You have to, in life, it is much more important to discover and understand who you are. You don't have to go in search, because I also did that as everybody. Who am I? When I asked the question, who am I was in search of who I am. But the beauty of life is that you just are.
Yep.
And when you just accept who you are by your values, by your passions, by your goals in life, it becomes much easier. And the beauty of it is that when you understand who you are and you accept just who you are, you bring this to other people too. You accept yourself how you are, and you understand who you are, and you understand and accept other people. And that is, of course, love. Love is what binds us all. That is the essence of life.
But I mean,
The thing is that our minds interrupt this positive energy.
but I mean,
That is what I discovered.
no, but Stefan, living in Europe. No, you have to, of course, tell us a little bit about the background. Where did you grow up?
The question is, where was I born?
Yeah, born and grew up. A little bit on, a little bit, just an idea, so that we know where
Yes,
this is happening.
exactly. So I want to situate that because I was born on the planet Earth. No, I'm
Yes.
joking. Luckily, maybe. Otherwise, I would be living here. So, no. Why I make this joke is that when in a conference, on international conferences, when I speak about peace and about consciousness and higher consciousness, and then they ask me, "Where are you from?" and and I ask them, "What is it exactly? What do you want to know?" Because your mind, if I tell you where I'm born, your mind is already thinking, this person is from that country, this person is like that. While in a way, you are not listening. You're
Right.
already categorizing me while you ask me the question.
Yep.
But that's how we are. So, but anyway, to answer your
No.
question.
You're right. No, maybe you should not. Maybe you should not. It's a good point. Very good point. Let people
Yeah,
guess. No, look, I think the problem is that your LinkedIn profile is going to be available. So obviously,
yes.
when you look at
Yeah,
the situation, then you know where you were, where at least you did your education,
yeah,
all that is available. You're a public thing. It's all public these days, Stefan. You can't hide
yes,
certain things.
yes. But to explain also, when I am a lot busy with the mind, what comes from the human mind and what is not from the mind. For me, the human mind is just a part of life. While we as human beings, considering us superior to any other living being, we don't understand anymore that a lot comes from our mind, while we should be humble and give it a place again in life, to respect life more, to be more humble to life, to nature, to love. And our mind categorizes. So when I'm born now, or when an elephant is born, I always say, and I make the joke, and here locally I say, you think this elephant is busy, I'm Burundian, or I'm Kenyan, or an elephant, does he think I'm Indian? I'm an Indian elephant. So I explain to them, when an elephant crosses the border between Tanzania and Burundi, this elephant is not thinking, I'm crossing the border now.
Absolutely. And
He
this is
is
exactly what
just
we have to do.
he is
This is
just walking. He is just walking.
absolutely.
So, and he's just living. And he's also not busy by time, by so many aspects we invented
Yep.
to do good. The problem is that what we invented and what we created is leading us. To me, we are not in control enough anymore of what we created. What we created is leading us now. Like, for example, for me, I see a lot of financial markets. They are controlling our lives. And that's also why there is poverty. Poverty, for example, one of the definitions, there are so many definitions of poverty. But for example, we consider a lot of person who has not much money as a poor person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a vision coming from somebody who has money.
Absolutely.
A
Mm.
person who doesn't know money and who has no money, who doesn't consider himself as a poor person,
Absolutely. Yep.
he will
Yep.
be considered as a poor person by the people who are used to work with money. And of course, that is the whole system now.
And that's all. And then that's relative. That's absolutely relative. How,
Yes,
whom are you comparing with? What is happening? I am poor compared to someone else. Someone else in
yes,
that sense is poor in terms of the money aspect of it. So that aspect of it will go on for life. And
yes.
we,
I wrote somewhere as a joke when I was reacting a lot to how can I say development and to aid sector, because I'm a lot confronted here in Burundi with the humanitarian aid. But sometimes it is too much. They patronize too much. They direct too much the people. While myself, I'm more a coach. I'm not directive. I like to start from the richness of a person, because there is no person in the world that is created without any value.
yep.
So we are not the creator or the creators. That is outside of us. So it is important to respect everything that is created, everything, not only human beings, but every living thing. Because in a way, there is harmony. Harmony, peace, love, that is what is.
But tell me, in terms of the larger, you have to now go into this whole larger thing being created, which means there is a creator. What that aspect of it, because you've obviously read about various, I mean, Indian, whatever, in terms of Indian culture, you
Yes,
know a lot
yes.
here, and I'm sure
But
African and
to
everything.
be
So give us a
honest,
little bit on that.
okay, so to be honest, I am not busy with the creator. I'm also not busy with religion. I'm also not busy with a God, but I believe in the harmony of things. And this is much more important. The way things just are, because our mind is always busy with how things were and how we want things to be. We are very complicated creatures, while the beauty lies in just what is.
But you tell me,
In
Stephen, but did you read about that? The Gita, we have something called the Gita Sar, which is like the kind of the essence of the Gita. So one of those things, it has about, I think about 7, 8 points. One of them is don't regret your past, don't worry about your future. It is the present which is exactly what you're saying.
yes, and I didn't know about that word or that philosophy.
I'll send that to you. I'll send that to you. So,
Yeah, yeah. But for example, I believe in, do you know Raja Yoga? Raja
mhm.
Yoga concerns pranayama, so the prana, so the universal energy that you connect to, so through your breath. So
You do
breathe
those?
in,
Yeah,
breathe
yeah.
out,
Those breathing exercise. Yeah.
and in the end, that's the essence. So because if we can't breathe, we are dead.
Yeah.
So, and this was the thing about Corona, is that Corona concerns a lot your breathing.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a lot about energy and yoga. The essence of yoga, we all think in the West that it's all about the movements. Of course, it's part of yoga, but it's not the essence of yoga. The essence of yoga is about the breathing and universal connection.
But
Not
you practice.
just all the poses that we like to do with our minds, because there is again our minds making us do things that we think, again, that we consider as important, while consciousness is much more than intelligence, and I speak and much more important. And that is one of the messages that I have. One of the core messages is that peace is always there. When there is no peace, non-peace comes from the human mind, because things, they are as they are. So non-peace is from the human mind. So it is very important to understand and see your own mind and see other people's minds. But there is so much more than intelligence. Intelligence is just a part of our life. But we overestimated it. We said, ignorant people are stupid, they have no knowledge, or they are not clever, or whatever. And in the same time, by our ego and intelligence, we are judging these people. While we also should look at the limitless of ourselves. We are not unlimited. We are limited. We are limited in our mind. We are limited by our body. We are incredibly limited. But limitless mind without borders, that comes to higher consciousness. Higher consciousness is a combination of understanding and experience
I think
without thought.
yeah. No, the way I'm looking at
Without
it is,
thinking.
yeah. Yeah, the way I'm looking at it is that in terms of valuing something, only you can value only something that you can understand the value of. So maybe all those things that we do not understand the value of, which are right there, available to us, I think that we have to start looking at. Maybe we look ourselves can't understand. How do we go about it? I think, yeah.
Yes, but no, I want to go further even. Why do you need to understand something to value it?
Interesting. Yes.
There again, your mind is playing you. That's the trick of your mind. You can just value things because they are. And if you
True.
judge things like good or bad, it's also your mind judging. Because what is good or bad for you is maybe bad or good for that other person. It's the opposite. It's a mindset. It is your point of view. It stays your point of view. Valuing things or not is also part of the mindset. Unless you value everything as it is, then you will come to the consciousness of things. But I understand very well what you mean, but I just wanted
No,
to
no,
pull
that's
your
a very
legs.
good point that you're saying. Actually, that's a very interesting point. Exactly. That's the way it should be. Basically, ultimately, just be and be as you
Yes.
are and let everything be as it is. But but Stefan, what you have to show us is what is the view that you're looking at? Because I want to see that hillside of yours. You have to see that part also, that you're sitting in such a beautiful environment.
Oh, okay. I'm on my laptop. Yeah. Okay, I can disconnect.
I see how Burundi looks like from outside. Beautiful. What is the town at the bottom?
So you see Bujumbura here.
Bujumbura. Okay.
This is full Bujumbura. It's a pity you don't see the other side of the lake. You see the lake on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
There is the lake. But
Okay.
the view is not clear today. And you see over the Lake Tanganyika. Lake Tanganyika is the second biggest water lake in the world.
Okay.
So, and you can see across the lake on clear days, but normally today is a little bit cloudy. You can see till Congo.
But how
And
big
this
is
is,
the yeah?
sorry?
How big is this Bujumbura? How many? I mean, in terms of population?
Oh, I to be honest, I have no idea, but I think so. Total of Burundi is 10 million people, and I think you have to count like 20% or 30% is probably living around Bujumbura.
Okay, so quite
Yeah,
a decent
yeah,
size. Decent size.
yeah. So the problem is that there is an increase of population in Burundi of 6.7 a year, and that is one of the challenges of Burundi. To control that, because the agricultural production cannot keep up to that. And that's why you can say that there are problems concerning lack of food for everybody. Another challenge that they have is that they grow always the same things. There is no diversity. They don't know diversity. So they have lack of some vitamins in their food.
Mhm.
So there are quite a bit of challenges for the country.
But what kind of work are you doing with them, with the local? I mean, you have to know.
Okay, so that has to do with my life story. So I was in Belgium doing these cases in court, and then I discovered in a way that court cases are always about having right or wrong, yeah, or to win the case or to lose the case, yeah, and uh, and it was not satisfying me because okay, myself, I was a good lawyer, and I was a good student, so I understand law and I can use it for my client. But these are all opportunistic attitudes. That means that with a good lawyer, you have more chance to win your case, and it has not so much to do with justice.
Yep.
This has to do with intelligence, with playing the game. If you're a good game player, you win. But this is not justice. This has nothing to do with justice. Justice normally should be when things are out of balance to come to balance again. And what is the problem of a court case is that one wins and the other loses. A court case is not a solution. So I started with mediation. Why? Mediation is about bringing people together for me to come to peace again, to come to balance again. It is not about positions, it's about the interests of both parties and to bring them, to assist them to come to balance again. After a court case, you will see that one of the two will feel good, one of the two will feel bad. So that is not a solution. That's why, in my opinion, is that the court case system is also based on an old mindset of humanity. We, sh- we should transcend from this mindset to another mindset. This is what I like about mediation. Mediation is Yes, Vikram, do you hear me?
Yes. Now you're back.
Yeah, it was disconnected. So, just to continue, I went from court case to
Just
mediation
just one,
because,
just one, sec, one sec, one sec.
yeah,
Yeah, you're continuing from here now. Yeah.
okay. So, I went from court cases to mediation because I learned that mediation is more about solutions. Then I took really a not easy decision. I took the decision to stop with my registration at the bar. So not to be an attorney at the bar anymore, but to continue my life as a mediator. And I even took a
But
break
how many,
because of
but how many years in practice had you been when you reached this point?
27 years.
Wow.
And yeah, yes. I was, when I started, the youngest lawyer in Belgium. I was 21
Wow. So
when I
basically,
was a lawyer.
so you always told us that at 48 years of age, you decided this is not the
Yes,
way I have to be.
good
Okay.
calculation. And yeah, it was not easy also because it's not that I was struggling. I did quite well, but it was really time to change. And that's when I went into mediation. And then I took a break in Swaziland, where I lived in a valley for 2 years. And I started to study what is peace, what is conflict, and what can we do? What can we do to contribute to world peace? Because the strange thing in my life that I already knew is that I like to be challenged by the unknown and by what looks impossible. I like to be challenged by that. And
But how did you land up in Swaziland? I mean, suddenly you take.
yeah, I was representing a group in telecommunications who were negotiating with SPTC. It's the Swazi Telecom Authority, and of course, the King of Swaziland has his shares in every company in Swaziland, but he is also part of the telecom. So it took some years, and the deal went wrong. So it had a huge impact on my life, private life and professional life, because it took a long time, and the deal went wrong, and I lost also a lot. So it was a break in my life. Then I stopped for a while, and I met my wife in Swaziland. So I stayed in Swaziland for 2 years, but it didn't. How can I say, it didn't work out. It was very challenging, very difficult. And then I left for Cape Town, where I studied mediation at Cape Town University. Then there I stayed a while to understand the African way of thinking concerning mediation. But Cape Town itself, it's more Western. You cannot consider it really as an African society. So that's where I decided to leave for Rwanda, where I lived 6 months to connect with the Rwandese. And also because Rwanda was one of the countries of Africa that is evolving the most industrially. So there is a change going on. But there I didn't feel okay. And I met my wife now, who is from Burundi, but she didn't want to come back because Burundi was, since 2015, in a very hard conflict. So the president wanted to go for a third term, which he did. But now, last year, there were new elections and there is a new president. So it was very interesting because I wanted to understand why Burundi is one of the poorest countries and why Burundi is one of the countries where is the most cyclic conflict. And for mediation, this is very important. For higher consciousness, it's very important to understand. For mediation to understand, and for peace to understand. So all these elements of life that are really my passion, I saw it, I felt it in Burundi when I came here. Burundi, I traveled a lot, and Burundi is one of the most beautiful countries I saw in my life. And the question that I had is, how can a country be so beautiful and people be in conflict?
Do you think maybe you can look at this as a pattern? We have to start looking at beautiful places and how there is conflict in those places. I look at Kashmir, such a beautiful place, and
Yeah.
living in that kind of conflict for so many years. So I think maybe there is a link, Stefan. Maybe this is one area you can be looking at of studying this aspect. But importantly,
Yes.
before that, Stefan, tell me how many wives, how many countries? I have to keep a track on that. Every country. I met my wife there. I met my wife there. How many at the end of the thing?
Yeah. I'm married 4 times and I have 4 children. And how can I explain? This is part of my life. This is part of I am. I am not a traditional person to any concept. Okay, if you ask, for example, my 3 values in life, I know them, so I know who I am, and I accept who I am. For example, my first value is liberty. My second one is creativity, and the third one is compassion. So everybody has to decide for themselves and to know what these values are. So then you know what kind of person that I am and what I stand for. So you see, when in some cultures you say like, okay, he was married 4 times, and you're going to focus on that, then yeah, you will judge me according to your values, according to your religion, and so on. Yeah,
But
while I'm just who I am.
absolutely. But are they running in parallel, the marriages?
Sorry.
Are they running in parallel? Are they four running at
No,
this?
no, 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 because I am born as a Christian.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm born as a Christian. So, yeah, you couldn't do that. But I don't consider me religious anymore, even more multi-religious. Because to marry now, I had to accept the Quran as a religion. But I explained to the imam that he has to understand that I consider myself as somebody who is a free person, but that I respect the Quran also as part of my life. But for me, it's easier to do because as a free spirit, you will always respect everything. You respect every religion. So you are not living in conflict, but you are living in harmony with all this diversity, because also I studied also a lot of Buddhism, and I consider myself more as somebody who follows the Buddhist path, which is not a religion, by the way. It's a way of life.
That's what we say about Hinduism also. That's exactly
Yes,
what we
of
say.
course, they are close to each other.
Yeah, the
Yes.
close that came later. We came out from. We say it came out from Hinduism.
So Vikram, you are in competition.
No, but you have to tell me, Stefan, in terms of reading the Quran, you've read the Quran.
Yeah, I did, of course, when I had to make the step a few years ago. I did, to convince myself that I could do it with all my conscience, so I have no problem. But if you are going to ask me what's in the Quran, I can't, at
Well,
this moment, I
no,
can't
the problem
answer.
that I face on these look at is that basically because it's written in Arabic, to actually be able to understand the essence of it, you have to basically rely on someone's translation and in
I
a way
agree with
someone's
that.
interpretation. So I felt that was a little bit of a problem, which is a problem in India, in Hindu culture also. There also we
Yes.
have these texts which you can't read in the language that was written, so now you're relying on someone else. Now whether he got the right
Yeah.
interpretation, I mean, imagine courts all the time you find out that this judgment and this law is interpreted this way. So I mean, here you're talking about a religious text which have so it has a very serious interpretation and everything. And maybe
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a correct way of going about it. I don't know how to go about
Yes.
this.
This is now we are going in a direction that is also good to talk about it, and this is about trust. Everybody is created the way he is, and there is this diversity of people. We are all unique. And this is where trust comes in, and also consciousness. Like, for example, there is things I don't like to do, and that I like to rely on other people. This is also why I'm a person who has no fear. I don't know what fear is. Of course, sometimes I jump when I see a spider or a snake, but that's for me not the fear I'm talking about. So what I mean for fear is for me the unknown. While a lot of people are afraid of the unknown, I am like, wow, I want to discover this. I'm a very curious person. But when I don't understand or I don't know, I won't be afraid of what I don't know. I will embrace it.
Should be able to do
So
that.
when somebody comes to me to say, yeah, the Quran, this and this, and like you say, there are different interpretations, then you depend on the interpretations. I will connect differently to that person. I connect to people not only by intelligence and by interpreting all the signs that I see, But I connect also, this is what I learned when I was older, not when I was younger, though I understood that I was strange already from very young age. I wanted to understand people, to love people, whoever they are. And then for me, there is three parts. There is not only the intelligence, there is the heart, which is love, and there is the soul. To the soul, you can connect through higher consciousness. These are for me. I don't know if I got them from a book somewhere. This is just what I learned, and it's part of me now, that I am conscious. There is the three. Not only intelligence, but also the heart level with love energy, and then the higher conscious level of the soul. These are the three for me.
But the main thing is you said that I thought I was strange. You were not strange. This is normal. Everything else is strange. This is the way it should be. What else is there? This is all that we have just to connect. These are the things to do. But even the concept of religion, they keep talking about what is it? It's just about telling people some nice things, the way they should go about it. Suddenly you make an institution around it, and then you start looking at it as this is mine, this is yours. It is for everyone. It is, if someone says something nice, if Stefan says something nice, it is for the world. If I say no, now what Stefan says is what I keep, and no one else can get it. Only people who I get into this circle get it. I think that's where we went wrong somewhere. It was supposed to be for public good, whatever good things came out. So I think, but what about Burundi in terms of the? I mean, one is of course religion as such, but what about their culture and their? I mean, look at the way they look at these things about life and all that. What is your experience of that?
Yeah, so for the first time, I will be invited to speak about mediation and about peace tomorrow morning in public. Okay, not it was always at a conference, but tomorrow is at a debate about the book that I wrote, Return to Peace by Mediation, but then in French. So it's Francophone influence here through Belgium, but the Francophone people of Belgium who colonized Burundi. And I mean, not it's of course the Belgians with the Flemish, but you have to understand they have the people who studied, they have a Francophone mindset. So it's a
You,
cultural thing.
you have to
They
tell
influence
what is the Franco?
culture.
This Franco
Yeah,
what mind?
so you have in Africa is colonized by different colonizer, and Burundi is colonized by the Germans and then followed up by the Belgians. So it's a francophone country. People, the second language besides their Kirundi, which is the mother tongue, they speak French. So they are influenced by the culture of that language. But what I'm saying is that sometimes, and it's sad, it's very sad history, because can you talk about culture when for 30 years you have a cycle of violence torturing the human mind, the minds of people? So I talked to an anthropologist just last week about the Central African situation, and his father was already a doctor in 1960. So in 1960, this man came to work here and said that already in the 1960s, the Burundians had the highest level of psychiatric and mental patients.
Yeah.
And it's not a judgment. The problem is always that we see all those words as judgments. Like a Burundian will not like to hear, like, how can you say this? Do you have proof of this? He will try to defend them and say, hey, we are normal. What are you judging us? No, I'm not judging. It is just reality what was in 1960. So that means that there was already a circle of violence. And what is the problem of our human mind is that we are going to look for causes. We are going to look for who is guilty, who did this, and we are going to look for consequences. And I am convinced myself that this is not a solution. The solution is never in the past. The solution is not in the cause. The solution is in what is.
Yes, finally
What does
comes
that
down.
mean?
Yep.
What does that mean? That means that what is the situation now and what would be the best situation? How can we live in harmony? And it is so simple. It is to just be and let
So
everybody
simple.
be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but you know,
Yep.
there is huge budgets going on now, huge budgets given to professors to map the history, to look for who is guilty, to look who did what wrong till 30 years ago, till now. So these people are torturing their own minds every day, trying by their minds to find out what happened. But the human mind is too limited to see the truth already in the present. How can you discover the truth in the past?
And
It
also the
is,
fact, yeah, and the fact is that right now you can only maybe find out about some event that happened or whatever to be able to go into the mind of 30 years and to see the situation from that point of view, because that's when you get the actual situation, which you can't do because the circumstances there. There's so many factors which happen. So to
yes.
even get a certain kind of understanding, I think it's a very difficult thing to be able to go into that
Yes, and
time.
they use it also to say we want justice to be done. Okay, what is justice? Justice for everybody at this moment means balance and happiness. Why you need justice? Why do you need justice? Yeah, you want, in a way, the human mind is some who can play tricks with you, because that justice in your mind can also just be revenge,
Yeah.
compensation. The moment you look for compensation, it's nothing to do with happiness. The core thing should be always, how are we happy? And of course, it's also the mind that wants to be satisfied. But in a way, happiness is also always there. And I always say it's like peace and love, just connect to it. And you are happy, just like that.
But even like you said, even the aspect of a basic feeling of revenge or whatever that comes in will again be based on a very limited amount of information that you can get. I mean, it's a whole country functioning at a certain point of time. There's so many factors involved, and to pick up a few and then say, okay, I want revenge on this, and this. I think this is where I think history maybe gets. Although they say history repeats itself, so that's why we are studying it and all that, but I think maybe that's is where they go wrong. Like you said, let's look at the present and work from there.
Yes, exactly. They use, of course, a lot of people, intellectuals say, yes, but you need to know the past so it doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can tell you stories about that. It's just because of talking of the past, you're feeding already this mind.
Absolutely.
And this mind, it will be in the mind already. Like in Rwanda, they are forced to be confronted with the past. They have now also museums, and children of schools has to go to the museums to see the genocide. They are confronted with the genocide that happened. So I think 92 it was. So there is a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is very bad. Those children are already fed
Yeah.
with it. They see it and it's in the mind. I don't say you have to hide things, but everything has a place in life. But if you consider the past as the present, that's the most dangerous thing that you can do. And what is going on? It is again about consciousness or higher consciousness. You can be an intellectual to try to understand the past. But if you are not conscious, you're not doing anything good with it, because you're not giving it a place in the whole, in the present moment, because it has no place in the present moment.
Yeah.
In the present moment, you are busy with the present moment, and you deal with what is in the present moment.
Tell me all the various cultures and all that you've studied over the years and everything. Please give us things from each of them. The African, the Indian also. You've been doing a lot of work there. Reading a lot. You have to tell us about J. Krishnamurti also.
Okay. So I was in New Delhi. Yes, that I was once. The only difference is that in India itself, normally I connect always with the local people, not with expats. I don't let myself be influenced by, how can I say, travel guides and all these things of people who were just 2 weeks in a country and they didn't connect to the local people. Look, I'm eating their food. So no. Uh, for example, when I was in Rwanda, I was 6 months there. In Burundi, I'm 5 years, but I lived here for 2 years without any contact with expat people to connect to the human mind, the local human mind. So, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful, is to connect to people, to their minds, to their heart, and to their soul.
Yep.
So the thing is, when you ask myself, where did you get what? I can't say that, because of course my mind says this is an Indian guy and this is a Sikh and this is another one, this is one of Mumbai, that is one of New Delhi. I feel these differences, of course, but I am not a person anymore who is going to categorize a person.
Yep.
When I see you now in front of me, I can think, yeah, it's Vikram Singh, okay, and my mind can be busy and I know where he can be from, and I see his hairstyle, I see his beard, so I can categorize you. No. So when I see you, for me, you are just Vikram.
Yep.
If you would be the president of India, even, for me, you
Absolutely.
would be just Vikram.
Absolutely. And that's the way it should be. That's exactly the way it should.
And
That's exactly
so,
what
so
I
when
do
I
also.
see another person from Nigeria, of course I know he's from Nigeria, but I'm not busy with that.
Yep.
For me,
Absolutely.
people are just people.
Exactly.
Countries are created by the human mind. Of course, we are all different, and it's good to know that we are different. But by
But
categorizing, we make it more difficult to accept
But I
each
think,
other.
Stefan, what we have to get it is that are we really different? I think we're all in a way connected and we are similar or same in a lot of ways. It's just that, like you said, the differences could be in terms of the color and the way the person speaks or whatever. But I think
Yes.
finally we have to get down to the inside and out there. Are we really different? I don't think so.
No.
You obviously you would
Yeah.
know better. Obviously, you've traveled much more. You've met so many other people from so many other cultures. But I
Yes.
think finally, I don't think whenever we say we are different, I don't think we really are.
Yeah.
But to be
When
able
you
to,
travel a lot, you will see that everybody in a way likes to be happy. Uh, People like to enjoy life.
yeah,
That I must say is the good part. For example, in Burundi, people are really open and they really like to enjoy life. But all people do. Only that in some cultures and some places, people are hurt too much, or because of religion or whatever, they won't express it so much. But it's like you say, the essence is that, yeah, we are the same people
yeah,
with all our qualities and non qualities, with all our challenges, life challenges. And we are only one humanity. We are only one.
absolutely,
And that's the essence.
yeah. I
We
think this is,
cannot look at the world to solve problems by only thinking of our own backyard. Because this small backyard, even if it's as huge as India or China, it's still a backyard because there is the full world.
but tell me, Stefan, with the fact that we've all gone online now, do you think that one barrier is gone now? That whole concept of us being in some way having barriers. Okay, now you have to take a visa, and then I enter this country, and that person decides whether he gives me a visa or not. All that is gone now. So are we now being able to
No,
create that one world as the way it should be?
yeah. Yes, I believe yes, because we are in transition, and but don't expect the human mind in general or on our planet to change like that. But what you see and what you believe is that by natural evolution, it will go for the better. It will balance because if you see the evolution, because the internet is there, already a long time. Myself, 98, the BBS system, I think, in that period. Then from 2000, the domain names were there, it went open. The only thing is that people were not using the internet like we are doing now because of Corona. Corona changed some things,
Yeah,
and it will teach us still a lot.
yeah,
Of course,
definitely.
it's not fun. It's a bad thing. It's bad where people die. Of course, it hurts humanity. But on the other hand, there is always a good and a bad side. The good side is that yes, we will connect more. Will it change our mindset
Yeah.
to a more open world? Not yet. It takes time. But you see some seeds everywhere.
No, I'm
You
seeing
see
that as
seeds.
no, I'm seeing that in front of me because now because of this whole promotion of mediation and everything that I'm doing all over the world, the connection, the you connect that you have with people, there is no concept of which place, what, anything. It's just now you suddenly you connected and you start from there. I mean, you don't even have to think about anything. So and you realize that there's so much. I mean, in terms of whatever common is in between us, that doesn't all these other things that you keep we are told about differences. It doesn't come at all into the picture. So I think
Yes.
we have to ourselves just tell ourselves that whatever, like you said, history and everything, this is now history. Okay, this is the way we have been told the world used to function. Let's just forget that now. Be into this moment and take it from there.
Yes, but what is the problem? We can start from within ourselves with how it should go. The thing is that there are all the world systems now, the world systems, the political systems. So the conflict will be now from the inner consciousness, higher consciousness of individual people and the people worldwide. Will be in conflict because of all the systems we created. So in the end, what I also see is that you really have established political systems, established financial systems, established economical systems, and all these things, in a way, they are in conflict with each other, and that's not
But I tell
easy.
you, Stefan, what the thing difference is that I've actually cut myself away from the news, so I don't know what is happening in the world at all. And I'm telling you, so it's amazing. I have no idea. So all these issues that all you talk about, that conflict and everything, that I for me it's a world that I don't even know about. Does it exist or not? So I'm creating that this little world of my own, and in
Yes,
that world only connect to the people you want to connect. So and
yes,
obviously the kind of I mean the interaction that you have obviously depends on you yourself. You have to open yourself to people, and just don't
yeah,
have to. There's no concept of judging anyone, nothing. It's just a one-to-one kind of interaction. That's been amazing.
yeah.
I think I don't know whether you can do it because you're a part of a very, I mean, the process in Burundi and everything, so you can't maybe
Yes, that
get.
is something else,
Yeah,
and I am connected a lot since 2 years now to social media. But from 2014 to 2018, no, yes, I had no TV,
very good. You are a lucky man.
no TV,
That was when
no, I was not busy with it. Yeah,
that's when your spiritual development happened actually.
that is when it. Yeah, this is when I connected, and that also allowed me to develop my consciousness. Yes, exactly.
Definitely. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
with these things, all these other things is baggage on you, and you have to
yeah.
make might be difficult for people to give it up. For me, it was very easy, and this actually the pandemic did it because all the every day the statistics, so many in so many this country, so many deaths, so many cases, so many. It just got to me. I said, "What are we?" I mean, it's really something to we have to every day of our life keep discussing this only.
Yeah,
It's happening. Yes, it's happening. I mean, it definitely is happening, but I don't think that we
yeah,
could get into an everyday basis to do that. So and just and generally, there was nothing much in terms of the news also that I really wanted to hear. So that's been a very good thing. Try it sometime.
yes. Also, you when you understand that what you feed your mind with
Yeah.
by your senses, with what you feel, what you see, what you hear, and images. Yes, you feed your mind with it. So you have to understand that it gets into your mind.
Absolutely.
So a strong mind decides, is so strong that the mind will see this is good for me, this is not okay for me, for my be. And when I talk, it's not about the ego, it is about being. the whole being, not only you, you connected to this oneness of people. There you see, oh, I don't want to feed my mind with this. When you are in a conflict and you say, okay, I'm threatened, you learn not to react, because you know reaction is not okay. How hard it can be not to react, because you understand that you will act or not act, and you act from consciousness and intelligence, not only from emotions, not only from intelligence. You act from the whole.
Yep. Yep.
That's where you decide, I feed my mind with this or not.
But you have to tell me about the influences. One, of course, like I told you, you keep talking about J. Krishnamurti and his influence. A little bit about that.
The
And you have
essence
to,
of all these people that I read is that, like Krishnamurti, these people already understood how dangerous the mind and thoughts can be, how strong they can be, and how dangerous the human ego can be, that they are the cause of a lot of problems. And it is not easy to place your ego aside, because you need your ego to live, to survive. Yeah. But we are humanity. Humanity is not the ego of one person or a few persons. Humanity is about the love between people. That's how I see it.
yep.
And the moment you cannot make that difference, you will have a lot of struggle in your life. The beauty of life lies in consciousness that you are part of oneness.
Yep.
And that makes you a free person.
Absolutely.
That consciousness makes you a free person, because you are not limited anymore by the limiting things of your mind. Your mind is limited by your education, by your parents, by your school, by your university. We think a lot that it sets us free. No, we have to understand it also limits us.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's why the unknown is the love for the unknown is so important. Somewhere I read it. Sometimes I don't know anymore if I read or was writing something, because somewhere is an important sentence. The intelligent and the knowledge of the most intelligent person in the world is nothing compared to the unknown.
Wow. Hmm. Yeah. Definitely.
We should stay very humble.
Yeah. And to be able, anything is important thing is to be able to, like you said, when that unknown, that experience that you have at that moment, you just embrace it instead of wanting to run away from it. That, I think, is the important part of it.
Yes, and that is also the beauty. Imagine you know everything. To me, I'm bored. I can be quickly bored. That's one of my negative sides. So I like to discover. I'm so curious. I like to discover other. I like to meet other people, and so systems are difficult for me because they limit me in my freedom and my discovery. So that's why the unknown is so beautiful. Imagine you know everything. That's why there is also life. One of the rules of life is that everything is in constant evolution. That makes you flexible.
But well, like again, back to this whole concept of the unknown. The fact is that the all the prejudices and the biases and everything a person carries with them, and when that unknown comes in front of you, you want to put it into some category that you already have as a in your system. It's like a filing cabinet. Where do I file it? But you find out that there is no filing cabinet for this. This is
Yeah,
totally a new thing, and to be able to get into that and take it from there, I think
yeah,
that's the important part, which I think people may find that difficult because it's that new for them. And if that new thing is there, either you run away from it because you don't know how to handle it, or like I said, you embrace it and you take it with you as you go along.
yeah.
That's a It's something that you
But
have to.
what we learn in life, that a lot of suffering that we have comes from attachment.
Yeah,
So we put things into categories and we attach. What we know, we embrace it. And the human mind is so, how can I say, there's so much fear that we sometimes hold on things that are bad for us. But because we know it, we hold on to them. While the unknown can bring us the solution and can be so beautiful, we're still going to hold on to what we know, or the comfort zone that people
yeah.
say.
I think maybe I think what you have to do is maybe not get into this. This is good. This is bad. I mean, don't put it into that. Those categories also should go. There has to be some
Yes,
kind of. It's like a neutral. It's not good or
yes.
bad. It's just it. Like you said, it just
Yeah,
is.
what is? What
That's it.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that you take it
I'm
like
writing a
that.
lot about to be. So it's a book for my children that I will leave, that I'm writing, and it's to be, just to be. I
Absolutely.
like it. It's so simple,
Yeah.
uh, and it's so beautiful. The beauty of life lies in being. So
In
you
that
wake up
moment.
in the morning and you say, "Wow, I'm alive."
Yeah. I mean, look, I give you an example. Right now, we're talking to each other. There is no script. No, I'm not thinking of a question to ask Stefan. You're not thinking of what answer you have to give. So that moment is going into that one as one in that moment itself. So we haven't really, we're not creating a path for ourselves. The path is being created on its own. I think
Yeah,
that is the important part in life in general. Let the path
yeah,
come on its own. Why do you have to think, okay, this is what I've been told. This is how you're supposed to go about it. Forget all that.
yeah,
This, I mean, look, imagine our next sentence is unknown. It's unknown. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say to that, what you're going to say. So
yeah,
it creates a certain path right there, which we don't have control over, but we're enjoying it.
yeah,
It's not that, oh, what is Stefan going to say? I'm not worried about it. Let it come.
yeah, yeah,
When it,
exactly. I'm also not worried about what question is he going to ask me now.
exactly.
Will I be able to answer it?
Yeah,
Will he
exactly.
go into my private life? Or what will be the consequences of the answer that I will give? Will it affect my life? Is he going to use it? Is he going to publish it? What is he going to do with it?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The people are thinking so much around it that that moment is gone. It
Yeah,
could have been an enjoyable moment where you did not even think
yeah,
about what those other things are, and you could have enjoyed it in that moment with that person in that moment. But no, I've
exactly.
already thought about everything around it but that moment.
Yeah, or even imagine we finish, and then I say, "Oof, this interview with Vikram is finished. I'm happy it's over."
First of all, it's not an interview, okay? It is a conversation.
No, no,
That's it.
I'm joking.
I know,
So
I know,
what I
I know, I
want
know.
to, I mean, it's about the energy.
Yeah,
So when something costs you energy, it means you are not aligned
yeah,
with
yeah,
this heart, mind, and soul thing. So when you are not aligned, this is what is very important is that to live aligned, what you think, what you say, and what you feel, and they are aligned with energy of love or whatever you can call it. It is all names of us. Names limit things already. When you just feel, you're not limited. When I go to silence now, you go to silence, we don't say a word. That's one of the most powerful things of life.
yeah, yeah. And that's what, if we can just understand these basics, it's actually they're so basic that a person said, how can it be so basic? I think that is where it comes from. Oh, it has to be more complicated than that. We must complicate it if it's not complicated.
No, and the mind will say, you must say something. You
Yeah.
must say something. I do it sometimes on conferences, whatever the level is, even high level. I will just so start sometimes to say something and then suddenly stop. and many people feel uncomfortable, but I'm laughing at myself because I know the human mind. I like to pull the legs of the human mind. I know the human mind is not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So, but we have to, we don't have to nothing, but to embrace this beauty of silence, to embrace diversity in life, to embrace the unknown is amazing.
But this whole energy thing, I think we need to really, I don't know whether you can actually ever be able to go into it and maybe even understand it, but there is definitely an energy concept. There is definitely an
Yeah.
energy concept, which we don't really.
Can I ask, do you do yourself meditation? Do you meditate? I
My
mean,
meditation happens all the time. I mean, I'm into that mode all the time. I actually never need to actually sit somewhere and do it. Maybe because
yeah.
I'm at peace all the time. So I think maybe that's why.
Okay.
And
So this is
on the golf
okay.
course, when I'm on the golf course, because look, golf is one of those sports that you are going to be doing things on your
Yeah.
own. You'll be hitting your shot on your own. So you'll be, that space is your space.
Yeah.
Although you
I
are going to be
understand.
playing with people, but everyone is doing their thing. So that moment also, you, that much time I get to myself. A lot of time I get to myself while even playing with people. So I think it comes from there. Well, in general,
Yeah.
there's been, it's like you're at peace with yourself.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't know.
understand. Yeah.
I would love to find out what meditation is all about. Love to, but it just doesn't happen.
No, that is conscious meditation, and there is different kind of meditation. When you have the full conscious meditation, for example, you also don't need to sit down. On the other hand, when, for example, things that happen in my life that really touch me, that's the moment I have to go back to meditation. It gives me a way of dealing with it easier, not just to then I do my meditation. Yeah, I
But
silence
what kind
my
of things? What kind of things come?
Okay, I have two sort of meditation: silent meditation, breathe meditation. So when I sit in my position, breathing meditation I have, and then I use also the how come I cannot get to it now? Is the Buddhist meditation with the mantras. So I have two important mantras. That is the Om mantras that I use. Om is the universal sound, but when I'm sick, for example, I don't take industrial medicine anymore
Mm.
because I'm here in Burundi in the rural area. I use a lot of traditional herbs when I have something. On top of that, I use meditation to focus on the problem. And then I use a mantra. I use the white Tara mantra, they call it, Om Tari Tutari Turi Soa. So I repeat it. So I do that meditation. That These are things that help for me. This is important in life. It is this. I will never impose things to nobody. People can ask me, "What do you do?" Like you do now, and I will share it. Never I will say you should do this. No,
Yep.
everybody has to find out for
No, but
himself.
let me tell you, Stefan, the mantras are very powerful, very powerful. If
Yes.
you can just understand them, well, I have two, three mantras that I chant. I do that on the way while I drive. I keep chanting that much time. There's one called, I'm sure you heard of the Gayatri mantra. Have you heard? I'm sure you heard of the Gayatri mantra.
Yeah, it can. I know. Yeah,
That's like
around eight. I also know the peace
very
mantra.
powerful. Only
Yeah.
I think the problem with the mantras is that you have to pronounce them perfectly. Now, to be able to get someone to pronounce it perfectly, for some people, certain things they don't. It's not natural in their the way they have been. They've learned language or whatever.
Okay.
So that I think creates a problem. That's why I don't even tell people to chant it, because it's a very it's I call it. I mean, whatever it might be, technical or scientific. I don't know, whatever words you want to use, but that pronunciation is very important. So that Gayatri mantra is very powerful.
Okay.
There's some.
It's about the pronunciation can be important in that way for the vibration
Yes,
of the
exactly,
mantra.
exactly.
But yeah.
So
Okay.
that part of it is, I mean, to get it, it's not
Yeah.
going to be something that you can. It's not, so a lot of people it's not easy. A
Yeah.
lot of people in this world I
Yeah.
hear, obviously they talk about the Gayatri mantra, but when I hear them pronounce it, I know it's not being done correctly, and they say that if you don't pronounce it correctly, it's a problem. So, but
Yeah.
these are very powerful, and I found it very good for me. So maybe
Yes.
you say it's meditation in that sense. For me, this aspect might be what helps me. So
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
months definitely I do on a regular basis.
Yeah. Exactly. So if people could find out to come to the whole Because what exactly is it what you do when you do that is that you disconnect from what is influencing you. Not disconnect, but you recognize it. It's a kind of other state of mind that makes you realize by consciousness and higher consciousness, like, okay, this is affecting me now, or physical or emotional, that you to recognize things. That's already one step, which is very, very good. Then to accept, recognize it, and then to accept it, because we don't accept what we don't like.
Yeah.
Then to go to acceptance is another, that's also part of healing, is acceptance. And then coming, this acceptance will bring you to the whole. So this, it's not affecting you anymore. It is just there. There it is. And there are you. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Of course, people will say, but it hurts. I don't like it. I say, yes, but come to peace, come to stillness.
That is the name. That stillness is what you said. No? That actually is, that is the important part, to be able to reach that stillness. And then after that, everything then is, there's a different, I mean, understanding of what is around you to a great extent. Of obviously, you're still part of the world. You're still part of life. There are things happening around you. So, but how much do you want to be involved in that? Also, you have to decide. You can't be,
Yes.
first of all, involved in everything that is happening in the world, for sure. So you have to
Okay.
decide. You have to create that little world, or whatever you, it might be called, call it little or
Yeah.
whatever. The
Yeah.
mind can create whatever you want it to create. But I think that part
Yes.
of it is also important.
When we react to negative energy, it is us deciding. When we react, we will become part of a negative energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we don't react, we are not part of that negative energy,
Yes.
but because we recognize it. Then when we act, we can take our stillness and we can take our positive energy to do something. And we stay in this positive energy. We are not going to enter in that negative energy.
Yes. That's the important part, because this is, I'll tell you this surprise, you tell me. In when I'm now start very clear in my, I mean, I will go back to golf a little bit. Now when I'm playing golf, I'm very sure that I will only have people who have that positive energy around me. Earlier, what used to happen is someone used to come and say, "Can I join you?" Of course, if you don't know the person, you don't know the person joins you, you don't know about the energy. But if you have noticed that this is negative energy, now I don't talk about people. I say negative energy, positive energy. I identify like that. So I'm very clear. I said, okay, this is negative energy. I'm not going to have this negative energy around me. And it's been really good, because look, 2.5, 3 hours you're going to be spending in that space. You don't want that negative energy around you. So it's taken
Yes.
that point now. Okay, I don't want it, and that's a very important step, I think.
Yes, but you can go a step further and say, okay, you're going to play golf and you are 5 people and you have 4 negative energies around you. You can also laugh at yourself. Oh my God, now I am really challenged. What am I going to do?
I'll
And
go alone.
laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself like, oh my God, I'm going to struggle.
No, I am not going to have the negative energy around me, for sure. But seriously, but this actually has made a difference. I mean, you just said so. I'm just talking about it because this is actually it's a conscious effort now. That
Yes.
make sure
Yeah.
that whatever time you spend, so that's what I'm saying now. Because you're connected online all over the world, you
Yeah.
have people whom you want to connect with, and that's it. You can't.
Yes, but on the other hand, like myself, I live a lot of situations here in Burundi that I have no choice to, for example, I take a position and I will be attacked by words, not physically, by words on Twitter like this and this. And so I accept there is this negative energy and I cannot eliminate it. I can also not say here in my life, negative people, I don't want them around me, because if you see that so many minds that are damaged, And this is as if I would allow this to affect my personal energy, then I have to move the country. I have to go out of the country because this negative energy is affecting me. No, what I do is to to build up so much energy and to stay connected to the universe. And my energy is not coming from me. I get my energy from the universe. Otherwise, I couldn't do what I do. I could not stay in this state because then I would be in my ego all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm suffering. Look me here. What is going on with my life? I'm living it with the poorest people on the planet Earth. Oh, what did I do with my life? No, I'm married 3 times already. I divorced 3 times. I can be like that, yes. And it was never my fault. It was always them. I always had a wrong partner.
No, but the important
No,
thing is, Stefan, you've at least be out there wanting to do things out there for Burundi and everything. So that's an important thing. Maybe I have not, I don't have that in me. I'm I'm doing, look, I'm doing my bit in terms of wanting to do things
yes,
for mediation, but that part of it is a world that I'm creating. So
yes,
I'm not out there into a present physical world, and I want to change things there. So I think that is,
yeah,
there
yeah.
is a bit of a difference there, because you.
No, it's not about that. I like when you say I want to change things there. It's true, but it's a little bit different. It's more like a servant seeing, okay, do these people suffer? Where can I help? And then it's like servant leadership that I want to promote. I want to promote coaching, not only mentoring. Mentoring is telling, being an example to other people. I don't want to be an example. I want people to bring the best out of themselves, to appreciate themselves, and and add value to their society, add value to their own lives, and add value to the other people. And that's it. Which value you add, how you're going to add that value, that you have to discover for yourself. For example, if you what you are doing now with mediation, it comes from you. It comes from your strength. It comes from your principles, your values, and this is what you do. And everybody has such a thing that she or he has to discover to do in life. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. No, main thing is that whatever you want to do at that moment of time, you must do. I mean, it's not that
yeah,
there is anything, there's a right and wrong that you have to do. You have to, and
yes,
not because someone else is doing it, so you should do it. It has to come
yeah,
from within. And whatever comes from within,
yes,
I mean, this is about
yeah,
work in life in every step of yours. It comes
yes,
from within. Right now, you feel okay. You're talking to me, and this moment of time, you might say, "Look, I don't want to talk to him." So you don't talk to him. If you want to, you
yes,
go on for next 2 hours. We can be talking. There's no issue. I mean, I
yes,
think he has to let it flow from what comes from within, rather than the whole concept of this needs to be done. That is how it should be done. That person's told me what to do. I have to
yes,
follow this one steps.
yeah,
I think we have to just create our own steps, and that's it. And
yes,
not
and
even want,
also,
and not even wanting people to follow those steps. That's the important part.
yeah, yeah,
That path that you've gone into, that is your path for that. That's just that step for that moment for you. You don't know where the next step is going to go, and you don't want anyone to know that this is the step you went through, because everyone has to find their own path.
yes,
Well,
yeah,
a lot of people want, okay, I am you follow my path kind of thing. Oh, like I say, it's a journey. Yeah, you're walking together. Someone comes in, walks with you, and then goes off to another journey of theirs. It's an evolving concept.
yeah, yeah,
But you have to bit about how, when you, I mean, in Europe, being a lawyer there, and then with the world around you, the kind of people, everything around you, that aspect, and then you compare it to your world right now in Africa, in Burundi. What do you see? I mean, you have to come up with, tell me something about that, differences and commonalities, both. There'll be both, I'm sure.
yes, 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 yes. So, as the Western part of my mind, before, and all Western minds will say, talk about developed and undeveloped, underdeveloped countries. But there is an underlying judgment in it. there is a judgment in it, because you are saying we are developed and the others are
Yeah.
not developed.
Comes from the same thing that you said earlier. It comes to the same
Yeah,
aspect of how you
yeah,
were
but
gauging it.
for me, it's a joke. Sorry to say, because if you say of your country we are developed, the others not, you're judging yourself and the other,
Yeah.
because
Good
in a
point.
way they are both part of the world. So we have to start to think, how can we worldwide live in balance? And that's not by judging each other anymore. It's by understanding we live just on the same uh, planet. And this patriotism things, like Belgium as the best football players, and the other teams in the world, we are number one team. Yeah, that is good. This is good busy therapy, but it's not reality.
The other point is that
In a way, it's a big joke, because people don't see it as a game anymore. No, it is their lives.
yeah, yeah.
This team, number one team, is their life, became their lives.
Oof, yeah, and the
Why?
way they
Well, it's
react,
not life.
the way they
Okay,
react
and
to it
then
is amazing. Then during the World Cup, and then you see the emotions involved. Amazing.
yeah, but it's good. It is busy. You can let out your emotions. It's about emotions. The problem is that it became all commercial. It's commercially exploited. So people are slaves of money, slaves of many systems.
No, I
It's
think,
sad.
Stefan, the important thing I'm thinking right now, what you're saying is, when you say developed and underdeveloped or not developed or whatever, I think, are we want to export a concept of development to another part of the world, which is it required? Like, let's say a certain kind of highway that you want to, everyone should have this 8 lane or 16 lane highway. Is it really that is what development is all about? Where do we say?
No. So now more and more in the West, you see also how much stressed people are. There is a lot of people who are depressed. The amount of depressed people raises each year. People with many psychological problems due to the systems that are imposing a lot of things to people. And then you are in Africa, and myself, I love nature a lot. I'm that's why I'm living here, surrounded by nature, with an incredible open view for that my mind stays open.
Yeah,
I'm living here also that my heart stays open. I always say to myself, oh, when I feel my heart close, I try to keep it open. Of course, not to damage it, but to keep it open,
yeah,
not to be like having a reaction of revenge, a reaction of sadness. Keep it open. It is not because you are hurt now that you have to keep on hurting yourself. The hurt comes maybe from outside, but you take the decision to keep that hurt with you for the rest of your life. So something bad happens to you, it touches you. You cannot avoid that something touches you. It's normal. But when you're carrying it, that is a decision that you take.
I got
So
yeah,
the West and Africa, here I'm very much close to nature. Though people also don't respect their own nature anymore, because they are cutting trees to earn money, to make fire, to cook. So there is a lot of unconsciousness. But there is unconsciousness in the West because we don't respect nature enough. We we hurt nature. That's the problem of probably climate change. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. So there is a lot of challenges when it comes to nature and sustainability of life. Then in Africa, we are still close to nature, very close to nature, but we have other challenges. So I won't go back to the industrialized or to the West. Certainly not with the mentality there. We should become more human again.
yeah,
More human again. I mean by that, respecting nature, knowing your place again as a human being. We gave too much power to money. We gave too much power to many things that have nothing to do with life.
yeah.
And this is what I discovered again in Africa. In Africa, family is important. Human beings, relationships are important, and there are other challenges. And this is the beauty of Africa: is that you are very close to these beautiful things in life.
You want to take it? You can
Sorry,
take it. Yeah, you can take that. You want to take the
no,
ball?
it's okay. No, no, it's okay. This when I answer this is a too long talk, and this is the thing. On the other hand, that is also when we talked about culture in Africa. You also heard about Ubuntu. Is that you don't live alone, but you live through other people. Yeah, in many places, Ubuntu, they don't know anymore what it is. They will use Ubuntu just because they can commercially use it in the world, and they will talk about Ubuntu, but they don't live it. They can be very egoistic, and ego and Ubuntu doesn't go together. It's two different things, different aspects. So, and this is good about connecting now locally, is that what you read and what you read in reports and what is in reports of systems, like even United Nations. I meet people of United Nations. They are here for 3 months, up to 2 years. I've never seen any person connect to local people, to live between them. They go from their office to their house in their big cars. And then they are in a system. Then they go out of that system to visit a local community. So when I open my door here, I don't know if there are people now. So I'm living with them. I don't have to take my car or whatever. So I don't know if there are people outside. So you see, so you're straight away in the rural area. So there is children playing up there. Hello. You see now, I don't know, I didn't look at the time. So the kids, they are playing up there, and they are supposed to be poor kids. So I live with them. I know what their challenges are. I know how they are. And they will behave differently when they see people are coming from an ONG. Yep. Because they know they will need to have a poor attitude to cause this sympathy or pity, that you feel pity with their poverty. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And you know why? So how can you live like this? I say to them, where is your pride and this and this? I say pride is also, of course, it's two sides. But when you live here, it is beautiful. I don't see these people anymore as poor. I see them as people.
Yeah,
and if they have challenges and I can help, I will help.
I think the main thing is the branding that you need of, like you just said, poor. That whole concept, first of all, it doesn't exist. Like I said, if I look at the richest man on the planet, I am definitely poorer than him, than what a person whom otherwise I would think economically is poorer than me. In terms of percentage of wealth, I will have what, this fraction of of that person, of the richest man in the world's wealth. But the other person whom I otherwise people would say is poor will have much more in terms of percentage of wealth than what I would have from there. So I think it's just that these concepts have to just go away. But the important part is
Yes.
the rich and poor in terms of value systems and all that.
Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
things that we need to value. When I like again go back to that, I actually believed that with the pandemic and with all the nice thoughts going around, I don't know. I mean, I still feel maybe that thought is still there, but when a person goes into that real life situation and on a daily basis, that existence, maybe those things go at the back of your mind. I don't know what happens, because the thought came to everyone. It was like a universal thing. Everyone is talking about all the nice things and connecting with people and good world, beautiful world, and everything. So it exists somewhere. It is there in people's minds somewhere. It's just that the way, like, if to be a developed country, then you have to have development. So to do development, you have to
Yeah.
do a lot of things which maybe you would not want to. The way you spend your life, the day, everything.
Yeah. The thing, development, when it can bring you more wellness or well-being
Yeah.
in your life, that's okay. So the criteria should be not wealth or whatever, because in all the world there is wealth,
Yeah.
but there is not everywhere well-being. So the world needs, humanity needs to sit together and be more focused on what is well-being. How do we feel good? How do we feel comfortable? And not, and understanding, of course, also that bad feelings are part of life, but to come to the essence again of being,
Exactly.
and
And
not being controlled by concepts like money is created by our mind. It can go from one day to another. The
absolutely.
value of money can go down in 1 second. In one
Absolutely.
second it can just go. For example, if you would take away money now for me, it wouldn't touch me at all.
That's the
It
way it is.
wouldn't touch
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Exactly the same thing. That part, I think that's very important. I think that part to be able to even, but the point is again the fear of the unknown. What will happen if that goes away? So the person is not going to put themselves into that position. But if the
yeah,
person goes into that position and sees that, look, that if there not too much importance of that money that everyone's told you about, you have to put
yeah.
yourself there. Well, how do you
And
do
of
it?
course, it is important. It is important, like you say, for the systems to work and to exchange. So it is, of course, important. But it is not the essence of life. It shouldn't touch the essence of our being. And the problem is, it's touching a lot everywhere. And this is also touching Africa a lot. If here the people in power, they are sick about money. And not everybody always, there are exceptions, but many people in power everywhere I see are a lot focused on that. And that's sad. That
No,
is
but
the
but
sadness of humanity.
but the only advantage right now is that with the concept that you're saying in terms of development, there are things in terms of infrastructure and all which obviously have to haven't happened. But this might be a good time that people don't go into that same path where what we call as like you just said, the
Yes.
developed countries went to go through, because
Yeah.
ultimately it's the mind that is the
Yes.
most important. So I think that is where an
Yes.
opportunity lies for you to be
Yes.
able to spread that.
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me that. You see, that's why the lies the interest of a conversation. Is that you learn from it. You can learn any moment, and this is true. You are reminding me when they are so-called developing is also not to step in some traps we did
Yes. Yeah.
from our side. We can learn everywhere. We can learn from them. They can learn from us, and most you learn from experience through mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes help you a lot in life.
Definitely. But
Yeah,
but the important part is that there are certain kind of good things and everything that is available, that is knowledge available in every culture. But
yeah,
that doesn't spread as much as you would want it to. For whatever
yeah,
reason that does, I mean that is what you have to maybe look at. Why doesn't that goodness spread? All
yeah,
those good values and everything which exists around us, it's all there.
yeah,
There are good people around us all the time. But the
yeah,
fact is that whether that goodness can spread, or maybe
yeah,
I think the point is to be able to just connect with the people that you want to connect to, find the goodness in that. Is that one way of going about it? That there is a limited connection that you make in life, and whatever look, everyone will have their gauge of goodness. It's not there is, I don't know, we have to really go into it, whether there is a universal goodness, or is there a that also is subjective. I don't know. So
yeah,
that part of it we have to get into, but I think we just have to create that kind of a connection. Maybe that's one world that one person creates, you create another world, someone else creates another world. So there'll be a lot of
yeah,
different worlds in the same world. Could be.
yeah. But there will always be one world,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. Yeah,
No, because I'm telling you, if sometimes you want to believe that, look, that there is that, of course, that universal goodness, and everyone will come under that umbrella, and the world will be really the wonderful
yeah,
world that it is. But I
yeah,
think that by itself, sometimes maybe it's not the right exercise to do. Sometimes I really feel that, okay, there are different people, they have their gauge, and why should their gauge not be the right gauge? Their gauge is, in terms of goodness, is their gauge. Someone might find me good. No, perfectly all right. I will find someone else good, someone I will not. I think that energy, maybe those energies are also person specific. Obviously, there are some people, what I would call negative energy, is energies that someone else wants. That
yeah,
definitely they will play with that person because they want to play that. That
yeah,
individual exists in society. So I think
yeah,
maybe that part of it also, maybe we'll have to just tell us or find out, or maybe look at that there are positive energies for individuals, and maybe there
yeah.
is no universe. Is there a universal positive energy, or what? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, these are all outer mind concepts because even of peace, peace is in a way non-conceptual. Non-conceptual. So that means that we can try to describe it. It's like love. We can try even life.
Yeah, everything,
We can
everything,
try
everything.
to describe it, but we are too limited to describe concepts that are beyond our minds. That is what we have to understand also.
Absolutely.
There is nothing to understand about it. It just is.
Yeah. And the main thing is, do we really want to help someone understand it? I think it's about feeling it. And when you experience it, you experience it.
Yeah.
I can't make you experience something. I can give you 50,000 words about it, but I can't make you experience it. I mean, look,
This was the beauty of Yiddu Krishnamurti when he wrote or when he spoke. When he spoke, and then it's written. He was always questioning. eh? So can we discover together what this and how do you see and how can we do and how can we see and how can we analyze and what is? It was constantly questioning. In a way, he didn't give answers.
yeah,
That's
absolutely,
amazing. That's
absolutely,
beautiful.
absolutely. I think that's the way. That is the right approach. Because the moment you
Yeah,
start giving answers, sometimes you get caught in those answers. And then you say, okay, I gave that answer. Now this is the way it is. But no, maybe that is not the way it is, because in the next moment, you might find
yeah,
there is another way. It is a
yeah,
different answer.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that the concept of being able to evolve on a moment to moment basis, I think that is
yes,
where the beauty lies.
yeah,
And I'm not
yeah.
stuck with the last sentence I gave. Those who I told
No.
Stefan that, oh, now I am stuck with it. Now for life, every time I meet Stefan, I have to
Or
stick
you
to this.
say, you said this, you
Yes,
said this.
exactly.
Oh my God, really?
So I think that part of it, people look again, the aspect of ego comes in. I said it,
Yes,
now I'm stuck with it. If
yeah,
that basic concept doesn't come into your head, look, you at that moment of time thought that perfectly all right. And you actually thought it, and that you thought was the correct thought for you.
yeah,
So no problem. But that next moment can change it. So you can
yeah,
move. I think that part of it in terms of peace, obviously you are doing the larger peace thing. I'm not. I'm those are much larger concepts that you are developing. But for me,
yeah,
that part of it, not the larger one, in the very small little limited life that I have, in that I just feel that let it just do not get stuck there. If you don't get stuck, the kind of relationships you can create, it becomes so much easier. I
yeah,
don't know. Then, like you said, there is hurt, revenge. All those are because you are not being able to move beyond that moment.
yes,
It's
yeah,
frozen in your system. And if it's
yeah,
frozen in your system, you will look, whatever you might say, oh, heal and everything. That's still there. If it doesn't exist because the next moment took it away from you and you moved into something else, there is no concept of hurt. It can
yeah,
be okay. You can look back and say, oh, yes, that if someone asks you, oh, yes, that did happen, but that's it. It should not go
yes,
beyond that.
yes, yeah. It's beyond the mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are, I mean, of course,
Okay.
these are things which we have to keep discussing, Stefan. This is not going to end. These conversations
No,
have to
no,
go
no.
on.
Everything is, by the way, an evolution. And
Yeah,
what we think today, we don't necessarily think tomorrow.
exactly. And that is, I think that is where the beauty lies. That you can actually sleep today and wake up a different person, and maybe process everything you did. No problem. You process everything that you did during the day. I'm sure,
Yeah.
but leave it to the subconscious mind. Your
Yeah.
conscious mind is not that powerful a processor to be able to take care of all that.
Mhm.
Actually believe, I think this is where the difference lies. We think our conscious mind is the thing, and the subconscious is something there, but it's not powerful enough or whatever. I will do my calculations in the conscious mind, but that processor is weak. There is a stronger processor there in the subconscious. Let it do its own calculations. It give you an end result, and don't question that end result.
Yes. Yeah,
That I
I
think is the
understand.
important part, because once that end result comes from that subconscious mind, you think, no, now I, based on what my conscious mind is, I will dissect it. I will do this. You will never be able to reach. It's like quantum computing. That's quantum computing. That is totally different speed. It's done millions of calculations in 1 second. You conscious mind can't do that. So that
Yeah.
end result, just take it as it is. It gave it to you.
Yeah.
Right now I'm talking to you, there is a lot of process, whatever might be happening for that one sentence to come out. I'm not controlling it. It comes out because there's some calculation, something must have happened, that why the output of that
Yeah.
word came. Let it flow. I think the problem is people, something comes out and they start questioning it, and you can only question based on only limited knowledge that you have, limited exposure that you have. So I
Yeah.
think you need to let it flow.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is very important. That is part of acceptance. Uh, Even to accept what you don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm telling you that understanding can only has limited parameters. What do you
Yes.
mean by understanding what? First of all,
Mm.
language. If I understand a certain word, that is understanding. But I don't understand a lot of words in this world. There's so many languages, so many ways people communicate. I don't know all that. So to say I understand language itself is a problem. In
Yeah.
the English language, which is what I have learned, is only limited vocabulary that I have. I don't even, in that particular language, I don't have enough vocabulary.
Yeah.
So how do I
Yeah.
understand? So I think understanding on various levels. I mean, this I'm just saying language, but there's so many other factors. To able to say that I understand by itself is like huge. How do you
Yeah.
say you understand? You have to know so many factors in it.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
No, exactly. But also sometimes not as important as
Yes,
sounds.
absolutely.
Intelligent is not always that important as it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because look, everything there are. I mean, whatever you might call it, emotions or outlook of life, various things are happening. Like you correctly said earlier, that the gauge the society puts on certain things, that wealth, money, they put a certain value to it. So you are looking at that aspect, but happiness has this value. There is a value to it. How do you say that whatever? I mean, can you put it in terms of rupees or dollars or whatever? You can't. If a person has, in terms of the infrastructure or the material goods that society creates, that these are things you should have, if the person doesn't have that but is happy, I think that's good enough, because that moment the person lived in that happiness. You can only strive for it. You can say, okay, once I accumulate this, I will be happy.
Hmm.
But that's a point of time. When you reach there, you'll ask yourself that whether you will or will not. But instead of that, someone says, in this moment, you can take happiness, but you can't take all those material goods that you thought will make you happy. You can't do that. I think you would want
Yeah.
to trade for that,
Yeah.
wouldn't you? That future. It's like
Yeah.
future. It's like stocks, like shares. It's future trading. In that future, it will become high. The value. You don't know it's going to become high or not.
Yeah, but the thing is that the ego driving the human mind, of course, lives on that, lives
Yeah.
on these insecurities created by itself to
Yeah.
just to be busy. But the mind is also sometimes a busy therapy machine. It wants to be busy all the time, doing things. So they create their own bad things, but they won't say it's bad. Yeah, if you want really, if you are rich and you want some, and you are bored and you want some stress, And then good play on the stock exchange is great to be busy with. I did that, of course. I did everything
Isn't
what
that?
is probably possible, but
Oh, I had that experience when I was in college itself. I realized that these things you sell a share today, you might make a little bit of money, but for the next 5 years, you will still look at the price and say, "Oh shit, I should have kept it."
exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can even make so much profit, like 35% one moment on 2 weeks, which is a miracle, of course. You were just
Mhm.
lucky. It's simple. But imagine you sold and it went up even more.
Yes, that's
And
what
if
I'm
you would
saying.
have sold at that moment, you would have made 70% profit. And the human mind is like this. It won't focus anymore on the 30% it made. It
Exactly.
will say, oh my God, I could have made 30% more.
So yeah, so he's actually
That's
saying that he's lost money, not made that money. Amazing. The way-
yes, the human mind will say, with so much focus on this money, oh my God, and what's your problem? Did you lose money? Yes, I feel like I lost money. I actually won
yes,
30%,
exactly.
but I
There's
lost another 30%. How? Yeah, I could have made 70%. Yeah, please. Come on.
so that
And this
that's
is not only about that. This is about many aspects of
yeah.
life that the human mind is like this. The human mind likes this busy therapy, likes this negativity, likes to complicate things. Imagine in some people who consider themselves intelligent, and then you come with some concept that is very simple. One day I was pleading a case in court, and the judge said to me, Master Doukhopelnikoff, this case is so much more complex than the simple way you are explaining it. And you know what I answered? Do you want to understand what I'm saying, or you want me to
Bit
be so
complicated.
complicated you won't understand anything of what I say?
Yeah, it actually is like that. Things are so
Luckily,
simple.
luckily, luckily, I could make that joke with
Yeah.
him because the local judges know me that I am like that. But imagine, Ale, come on. The thing to solve complexity is to simplify
Absolutely, absolutely, and actually,
and to be humble and simple.
which is actually the things around you, whatever the circumstances around you, and the person you are. It is actually very simple. You just have to go down and keep all those complications and everything that world creates around you. Just put them aside. Not difficult.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
difficult, but to be look. Finally, what it comes out to is that there is this world which wants you to be put into certain mold. Okay,
yeah,
this is where you have to go, and if you do, you have
yeah,
to decide that you want to go into that slot or not. The moment you get
yeah,
into that slot, yes, you're in. But if you can actually you're able to tell yourself, look, I am my own slot, and I don't want
yes,
anyone else to be me.
yeah,
I just want to
yeah,
be me, and let everyone else be them.
yeah,
And that transaction of that moment is what is important, because I'm not
yeah,
trying to make you me or you. I don't want to become you. I just want to be we're all unique by themselves, and that's the enjoyable part.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
enjoyable part.
exactly. This is the most beautiful thing, to
Yep,
just be yourself and let the others be themselves.
absolutely.
Yes. And then find this richness of this diversity of
Yeah.
everybody.
And
Yeah.
but only thing, like I told you, that is that you don't, do you want to connect to everyone or not? For me, at this point of time, my concept is whatever, wherever I find positive energy, I will only connect there.
Yeah,
I
but I think even this point of view of this kind of mindset that you have now, or feeling even combined with feelings, that is also sometimes temporary because myself, I find it sometimes a challenge how to deal with negative people and how to live with it, even surrounded by them. And yes, and because imagine there is no positivity anymore. Yeah,
Mm.
and you're the only person who's still positive. How long will you be able to live in that situation?
So
Yeah, you understand.
yeah, then you go into that whole thing that look for goodness in everyone and all that.
No, you don't have to look for goodness in
Fine.
everybody. You don't have to do that. You have to just connect yourself into yourself And what is if it, because still what is negative is you judging it as negative.
That's interesting. That's an interesting one.
You are saying, oh my God, this is an annoying person. With him, I'm not going to play
No, but
golf
look.
anymore because he's bringing negative energy to me. But this energy, it's you judging it as negative because you're
Mm.
experiencing it as negative.
Mm. Well,
You
I
can
look.
also
What
be,
I'm no. I tell you what. In that sense, what I'm doing, I'm actually sensing. I don't know whether some kind of a sensing that you do. It's not really actually again, like I said, no dissecting, because my own conscious mind might not be able to dissect it into why. But
yeah,
if that whole there is that, I mean, that you just leave it to what your mind, that point of time, mind feels that yes, this is negative energy. Perfectly all right.
yeah,
Mind is saying that, let me not push my mind into something which it doesn't want to be part
yeah,
of, because I have to
yeah,
take care of my mind also now. Hard body about my mind, body, soul, and everything that we keep talking about. But the
yeah,
mind, it cannot look, the physical distance between people, only the brain can say, okay, for you, whatever way you maybe explain to yourself, okay, I have to be close to this person in whatever sense I have to be. But
yeah.
the fact is, the mind itself can't stay close or go away from someone. The body has to take it there. So why should I push my mind towards something? It's like magnets. If it's a repelling, the magnet is repelling, but I keep pushing them together. It's not, they're not going to attract to each
No,
other.
that I agree. I don't say that. When I was talking about this situation, it's like a situation that is not under your control, because if you experience negative energy from outside, it is not under your control. You can maybe think you can change that negative energy into
Mm.
positive energy, but in the end, it's not under your control. You can try to do that by
Yeah.
staying positive yourself, but on the other hand, it's so much easier is to just recognize it. And for myself, I always say, Stefan, I'm looking at myself, you don't like this person. Look how you're reacting. You're feeling it in your bones. You're feeling it in your mind, thinking
That you
about
shouldn't
it.
do. That, yeah, that
And
moment you
I'm
shouldn't.
and I and
Yeah.
I'm laughing at myself because I recognize myself and see myself like, there is the ego, there is the person, Stefan, who doesn't like this. And then, yeah, my consciousness says, okay, this will pass. You
Okay.
don't have to be, you don't have to stay with that person all the time. You
No
don't,
difference here. I'll
you
tell you.
do,
No, Stefan, the difference here is that I'm not putting anything to that person. I'm not saying this is good or bad. The person I'm not getting
yeah,
into. It's that sense of energy that at that point of time, what I get. Like I was like this example of the magnets I'm telling you. If I
yeah,
find that this is an opposite pole, these two minds.
yeah,
We're talking about the mind situation. Now these two
yeah,
minds, one mind is repelling the other mind. Okay, this
yeah,
happening there. It can feel it. Those minds can feel it, but
yeah,
I have to keep pushing them together only because the bodies physically in that space are there. So the bodies are there, so the mind also should be there, and they should be put together. I don't think that's what I'm trying to say, put it in that sense, that every mind doesn't have to be put with every mind. Some
no,
minds,
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
just need,
exactly,
and they'll find
yeah,
their own mind to be close to. I'm not saying that they look, it's not,
yeah,
like I said, there's no concept of some universal good and bad.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is relative to what you think. So that person
yeah,
will have his own good connections and the good energies that they
yeah,
can find. You will find yours. That's one way of looking at it. Or are we going to say that there is going to be some universal goodness that everyone will find? I don't know. You are more into
yeah.
that part. You are
Yeah, I'm
you.
also not going into to that now, um, because that's another aspect of life. And yeah, that is anyway. It will always stay a point of view that you have, the mindset that you have, while things just are as they are. So,
Yeah,
and that's the most important thing.
absolutely. So
Okay, I
yeah,
see. It's here. It's
yes,
1:30.
yes. But time for you to have lunch. For me, it's tea
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
It's tea time
good
now.
that you know, because my wife already came 2 times to
At
say,
least I should have met her. You should have said hi to her. Why did I not?
yeah,
Why was I not introduced to her?
yeah, but
Just
they are down here, so I'm on the top floor with my view, and down here, and there is already visitors there, and
okay. No, because
Okay.
that's wrong actually. Just because now we are communicating on screens, it means that the other world around us, we should not introduce ourselves to that
Oh
world.
yeah, but I will go there. I will go there now. This, you have to know that for everything is a time, and everything is part of life. Everything is part of the whole. So
Okay. So I think
yeah,
time for you to go for
no
lunch,
problem.
and we'll have a
Yeah.
conversation. Anyway, we should keep meeting. You don't become though so busy, okay? Your book writing and all is okay, but you have to keep.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yeah.
when is the launch? When is the book launching?
The launching is not official yet because I do it with some authorities. The
Mhm.
thing is that this is French Institute heard about my book that is ready and not launched yet, but they said, okay, we do a monthly meeting, a café littéraire they call it. It's like a talk show about the book. But for me, as you know me now, the book is not that important. They asked me this month is free, and I said, okay, I will come and I will talk about my book to be launched about mediation and peace, because this was so important that there is the platform to speak about peace. So, and there will be media. So yeah, and I'm here to contribute to peace. So yeah, not everybody knows the concept of peace, what peace actually is, what is a peace of mind, what all these questions, and then the process of mediation integrated in this different aspects of peace, the
That's yeah.
personal peace, society. Yeah.
Because this by itself, I think is an important. We should discuss this at whatever whenever you have time. I think we'll do another thing
In
because
mediation.
this
Yes.
whole book of yours and what your thoughts
Yeah.
there. I think because I think I've pushed you a little too much today.
Yeah.
Your lunchtime.
Yeah. You will
So
be doof.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Take care. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan, for taking out so much time.
Yeah.
See you.
That was a pleasure.
Very nice